It always says, I don't know why that makes me laugh when she says recording in
I
progress.
know, I know.
I always just laugh. I don't know why.
And I have to click the got it.
I know, right? Exactly. Well, good morning, Tammy. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Julie, and everyone.
Yes. So today is, I don't even know what today is,
I don't
Tuesday,
either.
November 29th.
It is.
I used to say that because it used to say it on my computer, and then, oh, that's a long story I'm not going to go into. So
Yeah. You can always
anyway.
ask me. I can see it on still on mine. So yeah.
All right. So I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic. You can find me on YouTube under the Biz Psychic. I was saying this last time that I have many recordings from right when we started in the pandemic. So lots of interesting questions that people can look up and watch, and they're parsed, so you can just listen to what interests you. And that's kind of, and personal readings. So that's where I'm at. This is
Great.
Tammy.
And hello, everybody. Again, Tammy Langowski, Tammy's Intuitive Services. You can find me at tammy'sintuitive.com. Contact form there for private sessions if you want to reach out for that. And I'm on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Tammy's Intuitive Services, and Tammy's channel chats for another YouTube channeled messages kind of stuff. So anyways, thank you for joining us. And we have questions this morning, again, from Daphne, right? Thank you so much, Daphne, for sending those in. And Julie, do you want to read them or you want me to read them? Whatever you want to do or start out with.
Oh my God, please don't. For some reason I can't make a decision this morning, so you take the hand, take the lead.
Okay. I have days like that in mornings and moments for sure. Okay, so Daphne just says, thank you so much. Thank you, Daphne, for that. This was so insightful. That was referring to our last video that we did. Hope you both had a lovely Thanksgiving. Thank you. We did, and we hope the same for you and everybody out there who celebrates Thanksgiving. So I really loved your messages about old and new souls. May I ask, is there more than one source? There's several questions here, but let's start with that.
That is such a freaking great question. I was just
know.
like, wow.
Yeah,
Why did
is
nobody
there more
ever
than
ask?
one source? I agree.
It's just a freaking great
Go
question.
for it, Julie. Are you getting anything that you want to start
Well,
out with that?
so the answer is yes. I mean, source is just another word for God, or spirit, or the all, or Jesus. Well, I don't know if it's for whatever is you consider to be your source of spiritual connection and higher supreme being-ish, right? And so they're saying, yes, there are many sources, as you call them, sources, but they are really, if you want to differentiate, let us differentiate a little bit. So there is a source from which you came and which you return. That is what we consider to be the universe of all the energy, right? You are energy. You were born of energy. You never die. Energy never dies, and you return to the source of that energy. Wow. Okay. Wait, I'm still receiving.
Yeah.
So when we say source, maybe Tammy, you'll talk about maybe what your reference is to that. When I refer to source, I truly am referring to that source of the all. And it's funny, when I opened this morning, I was like, please open my connection to the records, to the Akashic records, and to the all. And that is really just saying to be open to the connection of whatever information my counsel feels is appropriate to channel to me, so that I can get the answer for you as we can. So for me, the source is about a supreme being, a higher source of intellect, not necessarily a higher source of energy. We are all energy, and energy can be moved around and changed and remanifested and recycled, as we like to say. And so it's not necessarily that it's a higher source, but there are differences in vibration, which we won't go into right at this moment. So when we say source, or when I say source, I'm referring to that that sort of supreme being, that source of all knowledge and spiritual connection. And there may be more. So the short answer is yes.
Mhm.
Okay, Tammy. Well, while I ponder that a little bit more.
Okay, thank you, Julie. That's great info. And yeah, it is it's a big question, isn't it? Because is there more than one source? So I'm really just putting that out to my guides. Already have connected with them, of course, and just wondering, is there more to that question, guides? Is there more than one source? Source to me would be a lot like what Julie's saying, the all God. Many people know the term of God, right? I like source. God source, sometimes I'll call it. And so yeah, is there more than, it's vast. Oh my gosh, they're already going, it's so vast. And then they're showing me all these things going up into this, imagine this big cloud of unconditional love, and all these things going up to it, different prophets, they're telling me, different masters and different ideals I'm hearing. And is it, it's expansive is how they're showing it to me. This is kind of like new for me because I haven't asked that question in ages, eons, myself. So they're showing it to me as expansive energy of, but I will say, of everything that is of all good, all love, unconditional love. But your question is there more than one source? There's always, they just show me this flowing of energy that goes into it. So in a sense, I kind of get that. Yeah, sort of. There is this curtain, this this, what do we want to call that, the thing that's over you, some kind of, right. But that there's just so many paths that lead to feed into that source energy. So it can be separated at times, or show me it can be a bit fragmented even at times. I don't even, you know what? I personally don't even have an answer for that because I can feel it. And Julie, I know you and I have talked about before, sometimes when something is so otherworldly, they try to show it to us in the best they can or describe it. And sometimes it's something we can't even comprehend exactly. You know what I mean? Even though that's a real direct question. But
No, and it's a great question. And as you were talking, and I got exactly what you said. So it's almost like lanes on the freeway, or that go to this one, and not it's not ambiguous, but this one amorphous type of area where
Mhm.
you can pull down information. And what they said to me is
Yeah.
there are sources of light, sources of information, sources of knowledge, and sources of the all. So while there is maybe one source, as you might want to think of it, there's many, 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 many infinite ways to either tap in, or information to tap into. So it's
Yeah.
yes and no.
Yeah,
Yes
exactly.
and
It
no.
is. An umbrella, I think, was the word I was looking for,
Yeah.
umbrella of some sort. But yeah, I would agree. And it's really, it just feels so good. Even when I was talking about it, my heart chakra was expanding, and it was like the love that's there. And it's almost like I love it even better this way than maybe what we think, right? That projected, like zero right to God, it's like, I mean, yes, again, yes and no to that even, but yeah,
No,
anyway, so
I agree with you, and I know exactly what you're saying, and I
yeah.
like it because there is no personification of it. There's not a godhead or a gender or non-binary, or there's nothing. So it's just
Mhm.
this, yeah.
Yeah, that we can do with what we
Wow.
will. That's what I heard. We can do with it what we will, and that's why, some people are very into that light and others are not so much. Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good question though, Daphne. Thank you.
lovely place to take us though, because it's a
Yeah,
really
felt good.
powerfully feel good place. Exactly, right? It's wow. Ooh, gave me
Yeah.
goosebumps. It's a really beautiful place to be. In some ways, it's almost like that place you want it. Well, you're connecting to a source of infinite love, wisdom, light,
Mhm.
power, healing, joy, compassion. It's the all.
Yeah.
It's the all.
Yeah. We love
Okay.
y'all.
Then she asks, Wow. And this is kind of connected to that, I think. What
Mhm.
happens when we realize ultimate compassion?
What happens when we realize ultimate compassion? And there you are, they just said, and there you are. You have arrived. Makes me emotional.
Mm-hmm,
Whoa,
mm-hmm.
I'll just take a breath. But it's we've felt that. I know Julie and I have had experiences where we made that first connection of that really, incredible energy of source. And so what happens when you do? You're aware of it. You've tapped into something you already know, they tell me, that's already has been there for you. You've experienced it before, or maybe not particularly this particular lifetime, you know, but you are well aware of it. What happens? You embrace it more. And so you see your evolution, they're saying, is about being conscious within that light and to live your life ultimately in that light. And that is your journey. That is always your journey over and over again. For some of you, for many of you, many of the souls, over and over again. That's by choice as well. Um, because it feels good to be in that light and to be able to, to stay in there. Because I want to see exactly, she said something on here. What happens when we realize ultimate compassion? Are there more choices, guides? Let's say we meet that ultimate compassion. We're in that light and we vibrate with it. Well, you will find other opportunities then for you to help others with it. They actually said you might find that you're in a different capacity to be able to. They keep saying help other souls. The journey on the earth plane is a lot like the kindergarten. You've often heard that from many spiritual people. Will kind of compare it to sort of like kindergarten in some ways. And even then, you might be a smarter kindergartner than another another one because you have different levels of learning. But it's if anything, they're telling me it's what happens is you have more awareness. You're now feeling all the, let's say if it's ultimate compassion, really, which was sources, then you're feeling everybody's experiences and you're understanding them and judgment free. So that's a tall order, which is why you're having so many lifetimes to get you to a place where you might be able to reach that. And then it's about what can you do to help others. I'm gonna leave it at that in a nutshell because I know of our time thing here. So Julie, what do you get for
Well, um, I first of all, we want to say, oh, when you read the question, what happens when we realize ultimate compassion? Um, there's something about the word ultimate. So compassion is a um, a state like any others. You don't necessarily reach an ultimate destination with it. It is a building block. It is a building block for you to incorporate into your personal growth and evolution. And as you do that, then that's just another, then, as they say, the sum of who you are gets to come back. Stop it. You get to come back as that much more knowledgeable and complete a person. Oh, God, he's driving me crazy. A
fighting?
person the next time you come. So it is just another, they're really showing me, remember those blocks? They were wooden blocks as I mean, they could be log cabins, they could be, it could be, oh, if only you could see this. Um
What's going on?
he's just decided he wants to play with something.
Oh.
And he's cute. So it just puts another not another brick in the wall, as Pink Floyd says, but as it's just another block in your building block of you and your evolution on the human pathway. And so it's like love, it's compassion, it's curiosity, it's all those building blocks that make up a human. So I just want to say this. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about compassion, and I'm like, I don't think I was born with that. you know, I it was really hard for me to find certain levels of compassion as I was feeling like I was growing up. And then later as a mother, you learn to, well, it wasn't natural to me. I had to develop those things. And now I almost feel like it's too much the other way. So it's for me, it went from like 0 to 90, and now we have to come back down into the middle. And that's really what it is with everything. It's finding a certain balance in your life. So compassion, love, joy, peace, um, curiosity, all those states of being for humans are growth as part of you as a human. And so that's what happens. It's if it's lacking, then you learn to cultivate it. If it's too much the other way, then you learn to dial it back a little bit. And I will say it's so fundamental as humans, and it's a big learning curve for a lot of people, either to grow it or to decrease it. Right? It's a big learning curve. So not so much of ultimate anything, right? It's just a growing process. I'm sorry. He just can self-amuse, which
Oh,
in some ways is good.
yeah.
Some ways, I'll say some ways. Okay. Any more?
Not on that one. Should we hop to the next question?
Okay. Yeah.
So I can read that first if we want. So do we at one point evolve to the highest vibration and go back to source?
Huh. Uh, okay. Read that again.
Yeah. Do we at one point evolve to the highest vibration and go back to source? Oh, well, go ahead. I just want
Well,
to jump
yes
in
and
right away.
no. Yes and no. It's like every time you go back to source, you're going on vacation from being a human.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that before. That was great. um, and um, and so there are some people who can make that choice to reach a certain vibration and never come back. Um, it's very individual, they're saying to me, and it really is based on your agreement and your discussion with your own counsel. Um, so I think I've said this before, and whether it's a highest. So we also want to say highest vibration. Daphne, these are really fine details that you're adding, because they're saying to me, so Alarie is really responding more to this. There, in a way, there is no highest vibration. There's only possibility. And so there may be highest vibration as humans, or that you are striving to achieve as humans. But out in the universe, there is so much unknown and so much possibility. It's not even possible for us to go into that with you. And it's an immense enjoyable journey for us to watch you as humans discover it as you edge out into the universe, even with your telescopes. They're saying it's such a pleasure for them to watch this. So there is not necessarily a highest vibration. And then, because there's so much possibility, and there is that which you discuss with your counsel as to when, where, and how you determine this may be my final time as a human, and maybe I'm off into the universe for other things to do. Yeah. Wow.
Great.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it was funny, Julie, because just how you had your first thing on there. What I heard when we first read the question was never, never, never. And they were I was like, whoa. But I'm going to ask this again. Do we at one point evolve to the highest vibration and go back to source? Oh, okay. They're telling me no, because you will never get to your highest vibration while you're in a body. And I get that. I understand where they're going with that. Because in other words, if you're here on the earth plane, that means you are continuously, you're still, we're all still learning, right? And we're doing different things in different ways to help ourselves and to help other people. But so we would say no to that particular question, that and
Too much possibility.
exactly. And so I would say this, guide. So okay, so let's say we leave our body when we go back home, we'll say, and we decide, excuse me, we decide that maybe we don't want to come back into a body for a long time, whatever that is, or that maybe we don't even want to go back in. I'm just going to play with that. And are we at a highest vibration in thinking that, or do we get to stay in source? Well, you will do whatever you choose to do, but there's always so much more to learn. So you see, you have different ways to do that. Yes, you could have the human experience on the planet. They're also showing me stars, other planets. Or you stay with us. They said, and you're still learning. You're still learning, you're still creating, you're still helping. So do we evolve to that highest vibration ever? Yes, some of you will. Some of you will obtain a level of, I'm just going to call it source because they're stumbling right now to try to explain it to me. But, I get it because it's a little difficult to explain. But like, a level of that spirit, of that highest vibration, we'll say, okay, that will help you understand where you need to go next with it. And maybe it is to stay out of a body, out of experiences that are also offered as living things, humans, and and otherwise. So some of you will decide to stay here for quite a while, but they're showing me again, you don't stop learning. There's school there too. It won't be the same with the ego and all the things that we kind of really are challenged with here, but are very important for us here. They're saying too, to really get those lessons in there. That's kind of how they showed it to me. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Again, that's a short of it, I guess.
I think we're both saying the similar things, same thing. So
right.
I like that. It's fabulous.
Yeah, great question.
Okay. Wow, Daphne, there's so many great questions here. Okay. If new
really is an interesting one. Yeah, go ahead.
And they're great, Daphne. I just love them.
Yeah.
If new souls are often created, do old souls die or get merged back into source? Okay, go for it.
I know, it's an interesting one. So the old souls I'm getting, first of all, are always, if we're going to look at new souls and old souls, okay, there's, some people may agree with that, some may not. But if we're going to go with that idea, are the new souls, I just want to say that again. If the new souls are often created, do old souls die? No, they don't die. I mean, our souls just continue. They may change into doing different things. Altruistic work is what I'm hearing of a we'll call that higher vibration again, if so we understand it. The old souls may find themselves being drawn to that kind of help and service to others because they have accumulated a lot of knowledge. So we'll say knowledgeable souls, perhaps, instead of old souls, right? Maybe it's just knowledgeable. Those have been around the block for a while and have had many, lifetimes and so forth. So will the new souls, okay, so no, the merge back into source, they're always part of source, is what I'm hearing. Everything's one in a sense. So not in the way that you're thinking. I think it just coexists. Everything just kind of coexists.
This was fascinating what they showed me. So it's not unlike the birth of stars or galaxies or planets. So they said to me, seedlings are being birthed all the time. And yes, old sparks die out. Whether you want to consider those souls, that's up to you. But we see new life being birthed all the time, just like planets and stars and galaxies and novas and I mean, just expanding and growing and they literally show me seedlings of light coming down and being birthed all the time. And yes, at the same time, such a metaphor for life, right? At the same time, those old, oh gosh, that gave me some goosebumps. Those old sparks die out. Such a metaphor for humans. So, and that's really all you need to be concerned about, whether you call it a soul or a human or whatever. All you really need to be concerned about is what you achieve and evolve to as a human in this lifetime. This is where you are at this moment in time. This is what you inhabit, and this is what you need to be focused on. Who you are, how you are growing, how you can evolve, how you can make your life and those around you really the best you can do, can be by um, by evolving. But yeah, seedlings are being birthed all the time, and the old sparks die out. It was if you could just have seen what they showed me, it was just some in some ways just beautiful. It was just such a mirror and a metaphor. So okay, and sometimes I can't always adequately explain it, and I think that's why they gave me that metaphor.
Oh,
So
yeah, definitely. That's what happens with me too. Yeah.
right, okay, a more earthly question. Oh well, I like those too, Daphne.
We are two earth signs after all.
Exactly right. What's happening to Musk and Twitter seems destined and a situation ripe for lessons to unravel. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. What is the spiritual lesson behind Twitter's implosion? Is this lesson for the collective evolution, or is this mostly Musk's lesson? Yes, yes, and yes. I mean, we're all here. We can choose to be a part of that lesson. What they first gave me was um his what he's doing with Twitter was his um response to what Rupert Murdoch is to Fox. He wants to be to Twitter. He wants to one up Fox. I, that's what they're telling me. I have no dog in this fight, so I can't stand any of them. But um, that's what he said. So what Rupert Murdoch is to Fox, the king of that genre and that area and that and those people, it is what in television is what he is in social media. That's what he wants to be. So and then she says, right to unravel. Well, um when you think of unravel or anything like that, then of course there's how can we remake it. So let's see what he remakes it as. But to be honest, what they're saying to me is this is all about him. Um, you can either partake and have your little corner of the Twitterverse, or you can be collateral damage. And he's created a lot of collateral damage, is what they're saying. Um, but this is really all about him and his ego and his need to be king of that hill. I
Yeah.
just makes me want to go, don't care, People are so who like that are so wrapped up in their ego. It's just fascinating. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
Tammy.
Mm. Well, this is one of those questions for me that I just don't follow this enough to really have, to really kind of get into that too much. Um, but I would go with the last part is this lesson for the collective of what's going on with Musk and Twitter. Um, is this more, is this lesson for the collective's evolution, or is it, yeah, this mostly Musk's lesson? It's his lesson. I was getting that, but I wanted to ask it more directly. It seems to be a lot his lesson that he actually really had an agreement to come in and work with some of his influence. So I don't look at this either way because I'm really kind of, don't know much about this. So, but that's what I'm getting. That's a lot of his lesson right now. And he's got a platform to be able to exercise that
Mhm.
exercise that lesson. And so there, everybody's in agreement who's really involved with it on some level.
It's all
Uh,
about him.
would you say?
All about him.
Yeah. So I would agree with that. I mean, as far as what I'm getting, because again, not being super knowledgeable, but that's what they are telling me. And just really making sure to emphasize that many people are on this agreement together with him to even really help him in some ways to have more clarity or possibility and opportunity for more clarity for himself. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting on that.
So, and that's, so what they just said to me, and it's kind of what I said before, what Murdoch is to Fox, he is to social media, and the difference between what he is to social media and say what Facebook is to social media or any of those any other influencers or King of the Hill people or gazillionaires or whatever. Again, this is all about him. Yeah, we'll just, it's him. It's him and the penultimate ego.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. Great questions, Daphne.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Really good. Really good. We appreciate those. And as usual, to anybody else out there who, wants to send us in some questions that we can get some channeled responses for you, that would be wonderful. So,
And by the way, let's all acknowledge Tammy's top for the day.
oh,
And let's see what you hear next time. So yeah, until our next episode, wow, great questions. I challenge you to challenge your friends to send in questions like that. It is just, those were, wow,
Right.
just wow. So
Right. Because
really,
that there's questions that spin off, like we said, you hear something and you might be thinking, yeah, but what about that? Or,
exactly.
So think about that, jot them down so you remember them and do send them in to us. We'd love to be able to look at them for you. Yes.
All right. So until next time, we hope you enjoyed this, and we thank you so much, and we appreciate you sharing it. We are slowly growing again. So yay! Questions and share, and we love it. It's unbelievably gratifying for us, and of course for our guides to be able to share that. So thank you so much, and thank you for sharing. And until next time, we're two psychic moms.
Yep. All right, guys. Have a great week or whatever it might be. Take care.